Welcome.
Hello.
It's like nobody on yet. So I guess we can just introduce ourselves for any future viewers. I am Amanda. I'm doing roll the dice sprints today for productivity and writing. Um, Today I don't have a whole lot to do. I'm just doing some writing and I'm doing some cleaning, particularly the kitchen. Uh, I will be rolling one of these for time and the other for which thing I'm doing. If it's even, I'm going to be writing, and if it's odd, I'm going to be cleaning. And Heidi, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Heidi. Similar to Amanda, I am going to be working on writing and cleaning, but I do have a few other things on the list, including bills, which have to be paid. Unfortunately, have to do math today. It's okay. I'll get through it. Um, a little bit of sewing. I've got a project. I promised a friend I'll be finishing up for her in a week-ish or so. I'm gonna give her a status update soon, so need to do some sewing and a mountain of laundry. So every time the dice rolls for writing for Amanda, I will also be doing writing because that will be the bulk of my time. But for the cleaning category, I'll be doing like any one of those other four things.
All right. So, I guess since there's nobody in the chat to be able to ask, how do we want to break the times up? Because I don't know how long of sprints you would like to be able to do.
Okay. Um, the Depending on the category, that's the thing though, we have to roll for the category. Depending on the category, I know it's hard to really get into a focus with writing if it's only like 15 minutes. So I'd say
Right.
20 or more minutes at a minimum would probably be safe to get
Okay.
a good, reasonable amount of writing in. But I know that if it works out to be much more than half an hour, some of the other things like bills can get a little tedious.
Yeah, that's true. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome. I am so glad you're here. Hope you have fun here, get some things done. Or what are you working on tonight? So, let's see, 20 minutes at a minimum. And then what would you say is like the absolute longest that you like kind of want to cap out?
I'd say I probably don't want to go longer than 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So, what if we then do just like a 20, 30, 40? And
Okay,
then, if it's like one or two, and then if it's three or four, then if it's five or six.
sounds
That
good.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Working on a rough draft of a new fantasy romance novel. Very nice.
Ooh,
Trying to write 25,000 for the month, doing the rough draft challenge. Ooh, I had not heard about the rough draft challenge.
that's awesome. That's a great idea.
Let's see. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 and 2 are going to be 20 minutes. 3 and 4 are going to be 30 minutes. 5 and 6 are going to be 40 minutes. Okay. And then odd is cleaning. Even is writing. Okay. So replacement for NaNoWriMo. And you get to set your own goals. That's awesome. Yeah, I know NaNoWriMo kind of dissolved. I like the idea that Nano 2.0 kind of picked back up. I don't know how much you were knowing about the whole thing with the AI drama that went down, but the original people who made NaNoWriMo have kind of rebooted it into Nano 2.0, which is not nearly as fun as the original NaNoWriMo, but I like to say I can still do NaNoWriMo in its original sense of what it was supposed to be, now that the organization is dissolved. Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate when it gets involved in creative stuff and yeah.
Yeah. I think the whole purpose behind writing 50,000 words a month was like motivation and putting something towards your creative goals rather than like having to complete it. I think the moment that we make it about like I got to complete it no matter what, even if I have to take shortcuts, I think we lose the point of it. I've gotten just as much out of the years where I didn't actually complete NaNoWriMo because life got in the way.
Mhm.
As the years when I actually did get the 50,000 words. It was about building the habit and using the creativity, even if I didn't quite make some word goal or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, I know there was a few things going on. I feel like the first I saw of it was when the forum stuff came out. Like the forums weren't being monitored, and so there was a lot of like bad stuff happening in forums. So they had to just like take down the forums completely.
Yeah.
Um, and then things just kind of spiraled out of control from there. I think it was some people with really good intentions that did not know how to run an organization, and some people who just really wanted to run an organization and didn't really care about the heart of NaNoWriMo, and it just got confused and they made some poor choices.
Yeah. I think that was the one year I wasn't doing NaNoWriMo, so I came back to it, I was like, what happened?
I know. I was like, one year I'm like, I'm ready to go. I can actually participate this year. And then everyone on YouTube was just like, we don't do NaNoWriMo anymore. What are you talking about? And I was just like, what did I do?
I had to do some research to find out. It was like,
Yeah,
this exploded.
same. Yeah, I've seen a few things. There's several companies. I can't remember them all right now, but they've all got like different 30-day challenges and or longer or shorter challenges throughout the year, but especially in November, because I guess they're, capitalizing on all the people who miss NaNoWriMo. And yeah, true writing, like, you're either writing or you're not.
Mhm.
You can't just steal writing from somebody else and call it your own.
Yeah. Oh, and that is my girl kitty, Bree, like the fancy cheese. My boy is sitting on the floor right now. Let's see if I can get him to come over at some point. His name is Bear.
Oh yeah, a few different people doing challenges. I think
He's
that troublemakers have a challenge of some kind too, but I'm not entirely positive on that. Yes. Aha!
Ooh.
Boston writing badges.
Ah, yes, Bear is also a cat. Let me grab him real quick if he cooperates. Hey, buddy. Say hi. You say hi, Bear. Oh, don't winkle, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. He's camera shy. He may or may not actually look at the screen. It's okay, buddy.
All right. Let's go ahead and do our first roll and start a sprint. Oh, I did it again. I forgot to pull up I even got on early to set things up and I didn't get a timer going.
Come on down, buddy.
Okay. So, I rolled 2 6s. So, that is a 40-minute sprint of writing.
All right.
Ah.
Aw, she's beautiful.
Yeah, I love cats as well, but I am allergic, so yeah.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, my sister's also allergic, so I couldn't adopt cats until she moved out and got married, but she loves them. She likes spending time with them. She comes over, she just has to wash her hands and face thoroughly if she interacts with them a lot. It's workable. She loves her niece and nephew very much, Bree and Bear.
Oh, yes. Let's see if I can get this timer. It turns out I had the timer open from last time, so if it will load here, then I can get it all set up. What I really want to do, and I keep saying that I want to do this and then completely forgetting about it until I'm streaming the next time, so it never happens. I really want to make my own timer
Ooh,
and just like have my own like themed timers. Let's see.
pretty
I
cool.
think that where I want it. Okay, that's just a little over. Okay, so I want to do this and share screen. This one.
Ooh,
And
I like it.
all right. So we will get started with our first sprint. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And time is up.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, that's very productive.
Yeah?
Let's see how many words I got. I feel like a lot.
Oh, I didn't count my words when I started, so I have no idea how many words I said.
I just had to cut and paste it into a document to get a word count because I wasn't necessarily counting either. Let's see, Microsoft Word says it's loading. Oh, come on, it's not 0 words. Come on, Microsoft Word. Oh, it's like 3.5 pages of size 12 font writing. There we go. 1,300 words.
Nice.
Not to be sneezed at.
That's pretty good. Characters went in a different direction than you had planned.
Yes.
Yep. Hello and good night. Thank you for joining us.
Glad you could join.
Yeah, I got like 2-ish pages done. It's like I'm doing a daily devotional / prayer journal project, and I've had written 6 days worth previously, and then had a bunch of notes for everything else. And so I went back through and reread all of the stuff that I'd already done to try to get back into the headspace, since it's been a few days since I've even touched this project, and then went in and did 2 days after that. So definitely have a lot more to do.
Progress, yeah.
Edited 2 chapters.
Ooh,
Nice.
wonderful.
What kind of project are you working on? All right.
I feel like I only got so many words because I was writing fast-paced stuff. It was a chase. A little boy and a cat were chasing a man who dropped his wallet in an effort to return it. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there are certain scenes that are so much easier to write quickly than others. I've definitely had those where I'm just like, I'm flying. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so great. And then I go to write the next scene and I'm like,
Yeah, I'm avoiding the conversation that came after. So the writing break came at a good spot. They're about to go from that to like a deep conversation, and somehow the segue has to be written.
Yeah, segues are no fun. Oh,
Ooh,
interesting.
sounds fascinating.
That could be fun. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll again. Let's see what we've got. 5. We've got another 40-minute sprint, but this one is cleaning.
Ooh, all right.
So I guess we're gonna be nice and even here. We'll go ahead and get the timer started.
Oh, my cat is like melted off the bed. Do that sometimes. She'll just like fly at the edge of a surface and just sort of like melt over the edge.
Like a Salvador Dali painting.
Yeah. It's a pretty typical formation for her.
All right. Are we ready to jump into another sprint?
Yes.
Let's get this going. Oh. Yeah. I procrastinate from cleaning a lot, so this is one way that I make myself do it, is because, well, the dice said I have to, so too bad. All right. Let's get ready to sprint. In
Hey.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And time.
Hey,
Whew. A little out of breath.
same. 5 minutes in, it was war. I was in my closet cleaning, and I saw this massive spider hanging out right next to my warm, fuzzy sweaters. I was like, oh no,
Oh
no,
no.
don't start. And I
Ah.
was thinking about how I wanted to get it, because if you don't get it at the first whack, then
Then
it
it disappears and then you never see it again until you least expect it.
yeah, but it was at least like 6 feet off the floor, and I'm not that. Well, at least 7 feet off the floor. I'm definitely not that. And
Yeah.
there's no reaching it. And I hear my roommate across the house with the one and only vacuum already using it. And I'm like, I can't move from this spot for fear the spider will leave, let alone like go and like wait to ask to use the vacuum. So I'm racking
Right.
my brain like, do I have a shoe? Is there something that I could do? Is there like something I can step on so I can reach this and whack it real quick? And finally, I remember I just bought a car vacuum this year. It's this little thing. It kind of looks like a hair dryer, just small, compact. And I did not succeed the first time. I had to bash the wall a few times before I got the spider. And he was still alive inside the thing. And I felt kind of bad. I did not mean to traumatize him. He was like still inside the vacuum. So, yeah, at least he was contained. I was able to take care of things from there. But
Yeah.
there are some lovely dents in the wall of my closet now that I either have to fix or explain to the landlord.
Oh,
The rest of the cleaning session went well, though.
good.
It's a rough start.
I got most of the dishes done. I've got a bunch of like random hand wash things to do, like a whole stack of wooden spoons and chopsticks and random things that aren't dishwasher safe. But pretty much everything else is done. Looks like we've got 702 words, rolling 1600 for the night. That is awesome. And edited 4 more chapters.
Wow, nice progress, everyone.
I'm terrible with editing. I'm great with drafting until I get to the parts that I don't want to write, and then it's like, eventually I can get to it. But the editing where I actually have to go through and make it a cohesive story is the absolute worst. I have a story that's been sitting in timeout since 2019.
Oh, I have the reverse problem. Maybe we should help each other. The reverse
Other.
problem. Once it's on paper, it's a lot easier to edit it. But
Mm,
initially getting on paper, taking it from like the hazy dream of ideas in my head to paper the first time can take a little more effort.
yeah. See, my issue is I have a very clear storyline in my head, but there's not enough word count behind that. So I just start adding things in, and then the one story that I actually finished a draft for is so bad because there are so many subplots that I added in just for the word count that I now have to detangle and get rid of and figure out some better way to make the story make sense. I read through it and I cringe every single time because it's so bad. So yeah, it needs a lot of work. I try to go a lot of directions with it. It's like it's religious in some ways, and it's also kind of a mystery, but also it's kind of just fun teen high school romance. And so there's like a lot going on. But yeah.
My trouble is conflict avoidance. Like, I'll mean to have my characters argue on the page, and like within a few paragraphs, they've communicated their differences, and
Mm,
things are fine again. Like, I have trouble sitting with the argument and letting it keep going, not resolving it.
right.
I'm actively practicing at that right now, trying to get some more work in with writing characters that actively hate each other, and it's not going to be resolved in a night, and it
Mhm.
will take years perhaps to make
I think
amends.
it helps to keep in mind each character's like individual arc, because like you as the writer are seeing the ultimate, like this is where they're both coming from and this is how it can be resolved, but they're each seeing only one side of the equation and they're seeing it in their own worldview, so it's not necessarily an easy resolution. So
Yeah,
it's like maybe that can, like expanding each of their individual worldviews could help.
yeah, that's fair. I think that would help my latest NaNoWriMo project quite a bit, which
Mm.
was, when I say latest, I mean like a long time ago. Whenever I last did that.
Whoa, 200,000 words.
Whoa, that's
Wow.
fantastic.
I struggled getting to 50,000. Mine's gonna be more of like a novella. I don't know.
Oh.
We'll see. If I finally get more of a story behind it, then I think I can make it longer, but I'm still like, I've had a few inklings in the last few months of how I can restructure the mystery part of things to give it a bit more meat. So I'm gonna at some point attempt to do that, but I've got so many other projects on the horizon right now that that's just not really next on my list. All right. See what our next one's gonna be. All right, time is. You know what? I'm gonna redo that one because I don't want to do another 40
Yeah,
minutes.
I will be here all night if we keep rolling 40 minutes. At this point, I'd be up for even like some shorter ones. Yeah.
Okay, sure. How do we want to? I can reset the times here.
Yeah, maybe at this point, given that we've had 40 minutes of each of the really long things, maybe we should cut it down to anything from 10 to 20 minutes or something like that.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. That'll be 10, 15, or 20. Okay. I'll re-roll because I feel like it's there. Okay, 5, 20 minutes. Man, I'm just rolling the max time every single time I roll this dumb thing. I think I'm gonna switch what my what my dice are for, but we'll see. And then it is another one of cleaning, which I
All
did
right.
need a little extra time to finish. So
Okay,
that
cool. That
works.
works out.
So let me get my phone timer going because the main timer does not make any sound when it ends. So I will just be happily cleaning away and not know that the sprint has ended unless I set
Yeah.
something on my phone.
In this case, I'll probably work on bills because my math brain starts to fade after about 10, so I probably get going on that.
Probably. Okay, so that's 20 minutes from now. Let's get this set to 20 minutes. Get my banner set up. All right, and we will start our sprint. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, looks like your time's up.
And time is up.
Hello again.
Hello.
It's pretty productive.
Yeah. Ugh. Got like most of the kitchen done.
Nice.
It always ends up taking longer than I think it's going to. Personally, I think it's just the amount of dishes that need hand washed takes
Oh,
longer than I think. Ooh.
a lot of billing figured out. My billing is more complicated because like I pay bills for the whole house and then I split them amongst my roommates. So to do actual math to figure it out. Which
Gotcha.
not always fun, but a little behind on things because I was gone on a trip and just got back and I have to reverse math back a couple of months. Some of the bills are on like they're all in a different cycle. Like if everything could just be monthly, like it'd be easy. But no, it's all in a slightly different cycle.
Yeah. And also it's like it's so annoying that like so my husband is the one who takes care of our bills, but I have heard, bits of when things are and everything. And so we've got the beginning of the month when we've got to pay the mortgage, but then the middle of the month when some utilities are due, but then like the end of the month when other utilities are due. And like I don't know the exact days, but like why doesn't it just like it's utilities for a home? Just have it be at a set time, and this is when all of the things are due.
It ought to be, yeah. Some of it's because some of it's metered, and then some of it's like prepaid stuff like internet. So that's
Mhm.
part of it. And the metered stuff takes forever to go through. So I look very slack when I'm posting something that looks like it was from 2 months ago. But part of it is it takes a while for the metered amount to be calculated and then to be billed, and then the due date of the bill is it's set to automatically pay in my account. And I could probably set it to earlier. I try to set it like to the same time, like not the day that it's due, unless there's no other option. Because if you're
Yeah,
paying edition, it doesn't go through and it's due, then I get a fee. But
right.
um, yeah, as long as I keep the card that I've got online current, should be good. But it's just the going back in and mathing it all out, figure out whose fair share is what, and then we had someone new rent with us partway into this month, so we got to prorate some things. So it's like,
Mm, yeah. Edited another chapter and a half. Awesome.
yay!
So is this a story that you plan on traditional publishing or self-publishing, or is it just for you, or I love the idea of being traditionally published, but it's I don't know how much rejection I can take. Self-publishing eventually. Yeah, my stuff is mostly going to be self-published. My children's book is I'm trying to be traditionally published just because it's really expensive to try to self-publish board books just because they need like specialty equipment to be able to manufacture them. But Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I've gotten 2 rejections so far, and I'm still waiting to hear back from 3 other agents, and it's like, I'm not sure how many more times I'm going to attempt to query if they come back in rejection. It's just like I might just see what I can do with like a Kickstarter to try and pay for a first batch of board books if I self-publish.
Yeah.
Traditionally, publishing feels like a lot more work in some ways, or at least more communication stuff. It is, and it's extremely convoluted because it's not just like in the old days where you just go to a publishing company and pitch your book and say, "Hey, this is what I want to publish," and then they say yes or no. Like you've got to shop for an agent, which takes months, and then they have to shop publishers, which takes months, and then even once they decide, yes, we're going to publish your book, they have to try to fit it into their publishing schedule based on when they think your book is going to do the best. So it's like they might decide, oh, this is going to fit in better with like the spring batch of books or whatever. And so then you've got to wait months for the book to come out, even once it's actually like published and done. Like they won't release it until like the opportune time, which is like in some ways is good because you're getting more, sales. So it's like they know how the market works, and so they do that all that part for you. So that's kind of the nice thing about it is because I'm not a good marketer of myself. Like I will just finish something and then post it once and be like, well, hopefully everybody finds it.
I feel
Bye.
that.
Yeah, it's like I don't have the personality that's just like, hey, everybody, come see what I did. I'm so great.
Yeah, I feel like the way to go these days is promoting online as well. Social media is
Yeah.
the go-to, at least for self-published authors.
Yeah, luckily there's a pretty good size AuthorTube community and a lot of people like um they'll have discords that you can have do self promo in, and you can like share in people's streams and stuff like that. Everybody's pretty good at supporting each other. So that's kind of nice to have like a little base community.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would ultimately love to get this book traditionally published just so that I don't have to worry about it. Because like once it's once it's traditionally published, I don't have to worry about the upfront costs, and I might not make as much profit per book, but we're pretty much guaranteed to sell more books. It's going to be going out to all major retailers. It's going to be, doing all that I could not do on my own, at least easily.
yeah, and ultimately, it's probably less work in the long run once you get it all set up. It's just the initial outlay of
Yeah, and
paying
plus you
for.
already have an agent. Um, it's easier to get follow-up stuff done because you already have a working relationship with them, and you can just pitch your next idea to them and you don't have to go through all the hoops.
Yeah, definitely worth the investment, but at the same time, definitely no pressure if you end up deciding the only way that you're going to get it out on the kind of timeline that you want it to be published and readable for
Yeah.
what you wrote it for. Because
It's
um,
like I would love for my daughter to still be young enough to enjoy board books when it's published.
yeah, that would be nice. I mean, if even if it's possible to just publish like a sample one through a self-publishing
I've
thing
looked
for her.
into that. Um There are some companies that will do like vanity board books that you can order for your child. They do not make them in the size that I need.
Uh,
They have like specific number of pages that they'll do, and mine is longer than that.
mm,
So it's unfortunate because it is like it's not like the most common board book size, but it is a standard size. It's just not one that they offer. There's like a couple different companies that do it. So the only way that I can get my hands on a board book is if I pay for, I think, 250 of them.
ooh, wow.
And that's like, I think, a couple $1,000s. So that's expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, my I had a quote. Let me find where that was. I know I got a couple of quotes from board book printing companies to kind of like get an idea of how much money I would need to save and or raise from a Kickstarter before I could afford to get a print. Uh, what on earth? Okay, I think it was this one. Go back to the beginning of here. So yeah, it was around $2,000 for 250. The cost per book is like $6.80.
Wow.
So it was like, yikes. And so I would have had to sit to raise I would have had to raise obviously the $2,000, and I was thinking if I did a Kickstarter I could do like pre-orders as the like what's the word, like the reward or whatever for donating. Um so it would be like if you donate X amount then you get a copy of the book. So you're basically just handling pre-orders that way, but then people can also donate outside of that.
Yeah, that's true. So they could donate more than the cost of the book,
Mhm.
and that would
It's
cover
like probably not, most people wouldn't because
yeah.
like, they want something for their money. But
Yeah,
I
but if it's
could,
something you believe in, they might be willing to donate a little bit more.
yeah, family and friends and stuff who know what I'm doing and are that I'm trying to raise money, like they'll probably donate some amount. But then it's like I also wanted to come up with some ideas for other like reward tiers of like what I could do for different donation amounts. 'Cause it's like I have the basic like buy a book amount, but I'm not sure what else to offer. 'Cause like my first thought with a Kickstarter for a book goes to like, oh, I make a bookmark, but it's a board book. There's 28 pages. It does not need a bookmark, and babies would ruin a bookmark. So I need something else.
It would be interesting if it was something themed to the book, like if there's something specific, like a sticker of some of the art or something. I don't know, like,
Hmm.
what demographic of babies we're talking, like, are they old enough to stick a sticker or
Potentially. I know it's ages 0 to 3, so like some of them probably will. My daughter's just got to the point where she's interested in stickers, but doesn't really know how they work. Just, like, peel it and give it to her, and she's just, like, holds it and just, like, will hold it quietly and do nothing with it the entire ride home from the store where we got it, and she's just very excited to hold it. So, I don't know, but
Well,
she's also, like, 1.5, so
depends on the kids too. I think you could hit some of the demographic with the stickers, even
yeah.
if it's an interactive thing, they do it with a parent.
Yeah, I could look into some stickers.
And it's probably one of the cheapest merch type items to make.
Yeah. Make a note of that here somewhere. Okay. Open the search for that so that I can look more into that, because that is a good idea. So that could be like a lower tier, like if somebody doesn't want to pay for the whole book or something.
Yeah.
There could be like a maybe donate to a daycare option or something. So it's like maybe buy a book to donate versus buy a book for yourself. Because like
Yeah,
if you don't have a baby in your household, then
that's fair.
you're not necessarily going to want to buy this book for yourself. But you could like find somebody else to donate to.
Personally, that's how I make my reading goals. I just get a bunch of board books and read them back to back.
Oh yes. All right.
Oh, those are pretty
How
solid ideas. I mean, also, like, some people will buy them because they have someone in their life to buy it for, but I don't know. It kind of depends, but I feel like depending on the person, how much money they have to donate. Somebody whose kids are a little bit older might invest in it just because they wish that it was around when their kids were that age. So you might even appeal to them in that way.
That's true.
And that's where you donate to a shelter or donate to a charity could help. Like donate a book to a charity could help
Yeah.
if they believe it will help others.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like if I find a daycare or something, or a children's shelter or something to be able to donate these books to.
If you can get into a library, some libraries will accept book donations. It kind of depends on the library. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't necessarily want to donate to one that will just like be like, okay, thanks, and then toss it. But if you work with them and say that you're a local author, usually they can
Yeah.
be more willing to work you into the library system. And sometimes they'll purchase a copy of the book. I ended up having to donate copies of my book because it was self-published. It wasn't quite as high profile of a book as if it had gone through a traditional publisher. So I did
Mm-hmm.
end up donating, but it's been in circulation for a few years now.
All right.
So
Have you ever been able to find out like how many times it's ever been checked out or anything?
I looked and I think it had been checked out like one time. So I was like, okay,
Oh,
made
I
one
got checked
person's
out
life
once.
brighter. It was probably like a friend of mine. I just didn't know.
Yeah, that's exciting though to be able to see your book on a shelf somewhere.
Mhm.
That's one of the things like back when I was doing NaNoWriMo like every year, um, I would make myself like checkpoints throughout the month at different word counts I would get like a different reward.
Oh,
And I can't remember what checkpoint it was. It might have been like at 25K, so like halfway through the month. I got to go to Barnes and Noble and find my spot on the shelf. And it's like
ooh,
this is where my book's gonna be.
that's cool.
So yeah, it was kind of awkward though because I got there and I was like, well, my book could kind of fit into a couple different sections. Um, so I ended up just buying a book instead.
It's a reasonable compromise.
Yeah. All right. How are we feeling? Do we want to try another sprint or do we think we're winding down?
I'd be down for one more sprint.
Okay. Last sprint.
Yay.
Get good ones. I am going to say the blue one is the time now because I've been doing it the other way and it has steered us wrong every time.
Watch it just switch to
Right.
friend.
3 and 2. So 3 is 15 minutes
Okay.
of writing.
Ooh, I can live with that. That's awesome.
Yes. Let me find 15 minutes. Set up this. Start our banner. And we will get started in 3, 2, 1, go. And time is up.
There we go. Yay! Lots of progress made.
Yeah.
Let's see how many words we got. Let's see. It wasn't as much as the last time, but shorter time span. Okay, 359 words.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I didn't count my word count again, but I made it through another day of my devotional.
Ooh.
So I'm officially through the first of 3 sections.
Nice. Great job.
It's gonna take a while to get the rest done, but I'm thinking if I can get like a day to just focus on it, I can get through at least another of the 2 sections remaining.
Okay.
My hope is to get this done by Mother's Day, particularly because it's about the Proverbs 31 woman. So it's like it would be fitting for that time period to release it around then when people are going to be looking for Mother's Day gifts.
Oh.
Because other than that, it's like I might not have very good sales until like November, kind of like getting into holiday season. 'Cause I'm planning on publishing this on like Amazon KDP to see, but I feel like with a devotional like this where it's like a page per day kind of a thing, you've got limited time periods in the year that people are really looking for those.
Yeah. That'd be good timing.
Hello, you joined us just after we finished our last sprint.
Hello.
Yeah, I definitely have some to think about with some Kickstarter ideas.
Totally.
Not that I'm entirely committed to doing a Kickstarter yet because I still have 3 agents to potentially hear back from, but I kind of can't help but think about the next steps.
Mm-hmm.
Swoopsies.
A cat in a bucket here.
Oh, very nice. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I feel like I actually got some stuff done, which is nice. I also get half day off tomorrow
Ooh.
because um I have a doctor's appointment that fell like at a really random time that it didn't really make sense for me to flex time off. So I just ended up taking a half day instead. But
Totally.
that means I have a few hours of free time and potentially I can get a bit more written then.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, about a
Mm.
week or a little over a week ago, someone put a all-day meeting on the calendar for Wednesday, so I've been like frantically doing all the things today, and tomorrow will be my last day to frantically do all the things, and then there's the all-day meeting, and then after that, it's like go time for press day for the next issue of printing. So
Mm. Ah,
well, she looks like the fluff in the ears and just the bulk of her fur makes her look like a Maine Coon. But best I can tell, because it's not like a purebred line of cat. Although she looks just like her grandmother, um, so there's some very strong genetics going there. But best I can tell, she's Lynx Point Siamese mix. So she's got the color points in typical Siamese areas, but they're like tabby stripes. And as she's aged, her fur has darkened, so she looks more like a classic tabby. But if you lift her up, her entire belly and neck area and like underside of her chin is all creamy white, and it's a darker concentration on her ears and tail and feet. So some very Siamese traits there. And she acts a lot like a Siamese. Her behavior is what marks her as having some Siamese heritage. Like her mom's a tuxedo kitty, and her dad is kind of a mix as well, but he has the same like cinnamon roll spiral pattern on his side that Bree has. So she's got quite the
Hmm.
blend there, but her grandmother was even more lynx point than she is.
Hmm. Definitely looks exactly where, like, she's where she wants to be.
She loves it in here.
Yeah.
She was from the last litter of kittens from a long line of cats, and they finally spay and neutered the kitties because it's getting to be like they loved these cats, and when you love a cat, like sometimes it does make sense, like if their temperament is good, to continue to let the next generation come out. But if you don't spay neuter, eventually they're going to really multiply, and you have a problem on your hands. There's a lot of homeless kitties that could use a good home. So I
Yeah.
did eventually decide to spay neuter, and I got her spayed right away too because I've got a boy kitty, and I cannot
Yeah.
afford more than 2 cats at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of nice knowing a bit of her heritage. Know what to look out for as she ages. Her grandmother lived a pretty long and healthy life, so I look forward to good things for her. I don't know as much about my boy because he's like fully adopted. It's a little bit of a eye infection thing every once in a while, so he does have a few health problems. But for the
Mm.
most part, he's been pretty healthy. He's young yet, and yeah, and I think probably increased his survival chances by adopting him as young as I did. He was 8 weeks at the time, so immediately took him to the vet and got that taken care of.
Ah.
Oh, oh yay! Ah, that's great. So I did make quite a bit of progress on it and shelved it unfortunately at the end of NaNoWriMo, but I was just thinking about it the other day and how I might bring it back. So I'm thinking it's between that and another project. I'm probably either going to combine them um, into one cohesive project or do 2 separate projects over the course of NaNoWriMo and put words towards each because any word count is better than no progress at all, is how I see it. And whichever one picks up, I'll roll with from there.
Yeah, that's true. Because even if you don't end up keeping one or both of the stories, if you have some good writing in there, you can just cannibalize them and take lines that you like and reuse them.
Totally. I think the issue that I ran into with this particular project was the one I was describing earlier, where when I create a conflict, I try to resolve it too quickly because I couldn't bear for her to be in conflict with the guy I was ultimately going to have her marry. Like it was so painful because I see them together so much. I saw their whole storyline play out and how wonderful it's going to be, but they genuinely did need to fight. So I think that's where I
Yeah.
wasn't able to pick it back up. So I've had a lot of practice in between. I just worked on a bunch of projects that I didn't ultimately plan to publish and did a ton of reading in similar genres to that. And
Yeah, I was gonna say reading like enemies to lovers tropes and
yeah,
stuff would be a good call.
mhm. Yeah. So after doing reading in that genre and then also in the fantasy genre in general, I realized I hadn't read as much in that genre when I started trying to write that. And so I was immediately ran into problems with my world building. So I was like, oh, it's overwhelming. But
Yeah.
since then, and why I may blend it with my other project is the other one I did an extensive amount of world building before I got into it, but also ran into an issue with the storyline, trying to resolve it too quickly. I think it was because, like you mentioned, I hadn't gone enough into the perspective of each character. I went really deep into the perspective of my main character, but not the love interest. So there needs to be some pushback on both sides in the enemies to lovers situation. Otherwise, it's all one person's problem, and that's not really
Yeah.
fair.
Right.
But I could see the two merging because I have one story with a ruler and I have one story with some commoners in it dealing with the results of the decisions the rulers are making. So they could blend really well if I decide to use the semi dystopian fantasy setting from my second project in this original one.
Okay. That's cool. I have not even thought about like if I'm gonna try and do nano this year. It's like I like the idea of doing it. Oh yeah. I did. Or does I was so stuck. Like I had started the month with absolutely no ideas, and I was gonna try like a full pantsing year because I normally am like a plotter, and I have my whole story plotted out in October, and so when I start in November, I'm just ready to go. Um, that year, I challenged myself to not plan anything at all and just start writing at midnight on the first and just see what I come up with. And it was really, really painful. It was so bad.
Oh,
But it's like I started this random scene with this woman who's dealing with her mother's house, and her mom's like a hoarder. And so she's realizing like nobody knew it had gotten this bad, and they're like trying to go through the house. And then I like got through the scene, and then I was like, I don't know the rest of the story. And then she's doing NaNoWriMo. And she's writing a story about something else. I don't know. And then I got myself stuck because I had to come up with not only my story, but the story that my character was writing.
you made it doubly hard.
And then also you know, the love interest was also doing NaNoWriMo, so I had to come up with his story as well. So I had like 3 stories going on at the same time. And yeah. So now I've basically stolen one of those stories to be my own. Um, it's weird that I'm stealing my character's story that I also wrote, but I didn't intend to. I don't know.
Well, it works.
So yeah, I'm working on that one. That one is like it's funny because it's so outside of my usual genre that I write. It's like I've written some fantasy, but this is like a darker fantasy where it's like there's some like thriller and aspects to it, and some horror stuff. It's like they're dealing with this really scary monster that the kingdom has sent them to kill, and it's like it preys on your fears, and it's like makes itself scary based on like what's in your mind, and like there's some like psychological stuff in there. And it was a challenge because it's like that's what my character would write. It's not a story that I would ever just like, oh, what's a book that I want to write about. But I was like, oh yeah, this guy's writing some story. I don't know, he likes fantasy and he's gonna make it scary or whatever. And so then all of a sudden I was inspired. I was like, well, what if I actually did something with this? So I've got like a whole thing plotted out now.
That's so cool. Yeah, I'm gonna start NaNoWriMo early this year though, rather than in November, because
Oh yeah.
I tried pantsing the last time, it did not work out. I lost my motivation. I really need to have some kind of a plan and
Yeah.
stick to
I
it, even
really
if my
need
characters do different things.
I feel like it's pantsing for me anyway is a good way to generate ideas, but not a good way to write a draft.
Yeah.
And then draft writing, it's like I'm much better when I already have like a partial draft of bits and pieces. It's like I will write scenes that I like and kind of have pieced together scenes with like blank chapters in between that are somehow supposed to transition this scene to this scene. And then I'm kind of like making webs in my mind of like, okay, how does that relate? What subplots do I have going on? How am I getting from point A to point B and then from point B to point C? And then I'll like sit down to draft it all out, and then that's when I do my full write through.
Yeah.
I say this like I typically do it. I've done it once. I have one completed draft. But I feel like that's probably how I would work best.
I have one completed draft that I finished outside of NaNoWriMo. Like, I got really, really close that one year, and I finished it afterwards because I was like, I need it completed. But it was horrible. The ending was absolutely horrible because I was just trying
Mm.
to finish it so I could be done with it. It was some I don't even remember for sure all of the details or why I found it so captivating at the time, but it basically just boiled down to a girl that was trying to save her favorite trees. And it's very hard to write 50,000 words about that. Um, and she
Yeah.
falls in love with a lumberjack that is bent on destroying these trees, and it's their whole love story. So, another
uh,
attempt at enemies to lovers. It was interesting.
yeah. Ooh, Earthborn. I would not do Earthborn for Nano. Just because it is probably the heaviest fantasy that I've ever attempted, and there's so much world building that it's going to take a lot of planning for me to figure out how I want everything. It's not really something that I can just go for it and then clean it up later, because it's like I haven't figured out what this world is supposed to be entirely. There's a lot. And I feel like I'm not the best at world building. So, I don't want to sit down and just start planning stuff and then realize that doesn't actually make a compelling story. Like, I've got to have compelling characters, and then the story has to, the world has to fit around them, but also make sense. So, yeah, I don't have the mental capacity to keep all that straight in a limited amount of time when I'm just trying to bust words out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a book that I tried to do for Nano. I think was that 2020 that I was trying to do that? I think it was like one of the options I was considering, because I remember 2020 being COVID year, and I was making a lot of videos that year about like Preptober and stuff, and I had a few different story ideas that I was working with, and I don't remember what I ended up doing, but yeah, I learned very quickly that it is not a story that I can rush. Well, it is 11, and I should probably get off here and try to get some sleep. But it has been very fun, and I got a lot done. Let me look at my calendar real quick before I just start making things up.
That's been a productive time.
Yes, I should be doing another stream next Monday, same time, 8 Eastern. So if you would like to join us. Oop, let me just throw
I'm
my
free then.
water bottle.
I'm free then.
Awesome. All right, then I
Glad
will
I'm
see you then. Well, I'll probably see you before then, but I will also see you then.
here. Sounds good.
And thank you for joining us for that last little bit, even though you missed out on the sprints. It was fun chatting.
Great talking with
Um,
everyone.
yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.